Combat is an integral part of plenty of video games, and there are numerous ways to deal with the hordes of deadly enemies that stand between you and your goals. While there are many ways to take your enemies down, there's nothing quite like a reliable sword to slice and dice your way to victory. I'm Josh the Top Hat Gamer, and this is my list of the top 10 best swordsmen in video games. Number 10. The Drifter, Hyperlight Drifter. The Drifter may not have a whole lot of obvious personality traits on display in Hyperlight Drifter, but at the very least, it's abundantly clear that he's an almost unmatched swordsman. His agile form is blurred by the speed of his dodging, and the Drifter's sword strikes are both powerful and swift, allowing him to fell ancient evils and even reflect bullets with his signature hard light blade. The Drifter fights with nothing left to lose, after being afflicted by a deadly disease and searching to find the cure. He either fights, or he dies, making him a truly dangerous opponent indeed. Number 9. Ivy, Soul Calibur. Few video game swordsmen can claim to have truly mastered their weapons, let alone created them, but Isabella Valentine, better known as Ivy, is one who has done both. Seeking to destroy the cursed sword's soul edge, Ivy uses her alchemical skills to create her unique sword, a segmented blade that allows the user greater range by becoming a whip when necessary. This allows Ivy dominance over the entire battlefield, and the sword's fluid nature gives Ivy a very graceful appearance when she's wielding it. I'm not sure which is more impressive though, the fact that she handles the whip sword combo with such skill, or the fact that she can maneuver as quickly and skillfully as she does while wearing those outfits. Number 8. Genji Overwatch. Left on the verge of death by his brother Hanzo, Genji, the youngest son of the Shimada clan, was rescued by Overwatch and brought back to life as a cyborg. His already masterful skills have been enhanced even further thanks to his new body, making Genji an immensely mobile threat to any and all who oppose him. Although he mostly uses his razor-sharp shuriken, his blade is what really sets him apart from other warriors. Dashing through opponents and reflecting even the most powerful attacks allows him to hang with the mostly projectile-focused heroes of Overwatch, but getting in close and unleashing his deadly dragon blade can wipe entire teams in a matter of seconds. In his own words, a steady blade balances the soul, and there are few steadier than his. Number 7. Link, The Legend of Zelda series. Link is a lot of different people over a lot of different stories, but one thing remains constant across all iterations: Link's natural aptitude for wielding a sword. His adaptability in general is fairly impressive, but he's almost always pictured with his sword and shield, for good reason too. I mean, how many others could possibly be worthy of a weapon known as the Master Sword? With fast strikes and impressively acrobatic dodging skills, Link is a formidable warrior, despite his diminutive size, and is capable of incredible feats in combat, no matter which version of him we're talking about. Number 6. Strider Hiryu, Strider series. Focused and fast, Hiryu is an ice-cold special A-class Strider agent who wields the light sword Cypher, kind of a mix between a plasma sword and a tonfa. Among the Striders, there are none more skilled with a Cypher than Hiryu, as he's able to modify the weapon's edge into explosive or freezing forms while also being able to reflect bullets or modify the weapon into a boomerang-esque projectile. Add to that Hiryu's unmatched agility and mastery over his various robotic options, and you have a versatile warrior who can run through entire armies with astounding speed and viciousness. Plus, the man clearly has style. I mean, look at that scarf! Number 5. Sir Alonne, Dark Souls 2. It's easy to see just how skilled Sir Alonne is when we face him in the memory of the old Iron King. He attacks with vicious lunges and slashes, and his bewitched sword seems to feed off its victim's blood, increasing in power after impaling a careless warrior. No wonder the Iron King had his elite warriors mentored by the Eastern swordsmen. Despite his ferocity in battle, Sir Alonne always fought with honor, bowing to his opponents before combat, and even committing seppuku should an opponent be skilled enough to defeat him without suffering any damage. Seriously, what a badass. Truly, Sir Alonne is the premier swordsman of the Dark Souls series. Number 4. Kenshi, Mortal Kombat series. Robbed of his sight when Shang Tsung tricked him into disturbing the ancient sword known as Sento, Kenshi was left for dead inside a dark labyrinth. Fortunately for Kenshi, Sento was inhabited by the souls of his ancient ancestors, who proceeded to guide the blinded swordsman to his freedom. Kenshi was already an accomplished warrior, but his bond with Sento has granted him heightened senses and telekinetic abilities on top of his already honed skills. When using his newfound gifts in tandem with his precise attacks, Kenshi becomes a deadly combatant, able to throw his enemies around like ragdolls and tear them up like tissue paper. Maybe sight is overrated after all. Number 3. The Prince of Persia series. Thanks to some time travel shenanigans, the Prince has combat experience far beyond that of what he should have, and is naturally gifted with impressive acrobatic abilities. It's these skills that cement him as one of gaming's greatest swordsmen, as he's able to fight with a number of different blades, sometimes simultaneously, while also using the world around him to his advantage whenever possible. Leaping over foes, flipping off of walls, or monkey flipping enemies into pits are all regular parts of the Prince's repertoire. And this is without talking about his various time-related powers, allowing him greater focus, speed, and the ability to undo the mistakes of the past. How can you defeat a man who can rewind whenever he loses? Number 2. Virgil, Devil May Cry series. When I talk about swordsmen in video games, most people would think of Dante, the cocky, gunslinging, sword-swinging protagonist of Devil May Cry. And while he's certainly up there in terms of swordsmanship, I think the prize goes to Virgil. Where his brother favours all-out power and force to get the job done, Virgil is all about speed and precision, able to cut down foes and resheath his demon blade Yamato before the victim even knows they're dead. He even refrains from using firearms, considering them to be lesser weapons, instead opting to manifest summoned swords for long-range attacks. At the end of the day, Virgil's calm, collected temperament is what truly elevates his skill with the sword over that of his younger brother. Number 1. Ridin, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Metal Gear Solid has had a number of sword-wielding warriors throughout the years, but few can hold a candle to Ridin. We'd first see the pretty boy Solid Snake wannabe pick up a sword at the conclusion of MGS2, but it would be his first appearance as the cyborg ninja in Metal Gear Solid 4 that would really showcase his incredible agility and ferocious swordsmanship. I mean, we see him fight off a force of elite warriors with no arms, for God's sake. When he finally made a return to the spotlight in Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, he was a whirling tornado of fury, able to cut his enemies open at the drop of a hat, while also taking on opponents far larger than himself. Whether he's taking on gigantic Metal Gears or single pitiful soldiers, Ridin is ruthless. And you gotta respect that. There you have it, my top 10 best swordsmen in video games. There are plenty more I didn't mention, and these are obviously just my opinion, so let me know who your favourites are in the comments below. And game on!